Hi there. Hi. I'm coming on after a long day at school work school. Um, and I just in the middle of running errands this afternoon. But something happened today that I kind of want to touch on before it gets away from me. But at the same time, uh, it was quite interesting. So I'm gonna change names to protect the innocent. Uh, so two boys who I'm not quite sure what the relationship is to one another. Um, I think, kids at this age 7 right now, and after our shutdown, we've got some kids that sometimes they don't always pick up on nuance and empathy. And I feel like uh, a lot of people are also going to be in that same boat. I'm just going to be honest. So I'm using children as the example. However, this is going to be a supplement for you because there's going to be a lot of people who right now are probably, yeah, doing the same. So I'll call them Billy Bob and Cletus. So Billy Bob came to me this afternoon as we are getting ready for the end of the day. The children put their materials back on the shelf so that the classroom can get cleaned and all this other good stuff. So they have their materials. Everybody has their own little bin of materials that they go place on the shelf, and they move on, and they get their backpacks and all the good stuff. So we're starting the cleanup, pack up process. And Billy Bob comes to me and he says, Miss Arrington, Cletus is bragging about putting his bin on the top shelf. And so, knowing both boys and knowing the situation, I kind of was like, I'm not going to engage in chastising Cletus because I know more of the story. And as I tell the story now, and it will unfold and you will start to understand. So I pull Billy Bob to the side and come to my desk, come to my office, my mini office, away from everyone else, while my my parapro helps the other kids finish, getting their things together, and I come and have him come talk to me for a minute. And so I say, so what do you mean, first of all, what do you mean by bragging? Clarification. In our everyday lives, we jump the gun and we get all emotional and we don't figure out what actually happened. So I ask, what do you mean by bragging? What is he doing? What happened? And so Billy Bob says, well, he's saying that he can reach the top shelf with his bin. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, do you know what bragging means? And then Billy Bob's like, not well, sorta. So it means like telling people that you can do something. I was like, yeah, okay. It's telling people that you can do something that they can't do, and they are trying to make you feel bad about it. Now, then I ask Billy Bob, are you feeling bad that Cletus is saying that he can put his bin on the top shelf? And then Billy Bob says, yes. And I'm like, really? And I ask why. And he's like, well, I don't like it when people say things about themselves that make them look good. And I'm like, oh, really? Well, then this is where I have to kind of let him be more aware of himself, because I was like, that's interesting to me, because sometimes you do that in class. It's like sometimes you do that when we're trying to teach a lesson and you just want to share about your life and we're talking about something else. And just because you hear a certain word and it makes you think about the time you did something, it's not the time to start talking about you when there's other students in the classroom, and even though that one word was the one thing that connected you to the lesson, it's not time for you to talk about you and yourself. And then Billy Bob was like, oh, oh. And then I was like, I didn't, they're 7, okay. And then I wanted to incite or encourage some empathy here, because now, as the story is unfolding, Cletus is actually the shortest student in our class, shorter than even some of the girls. Okay, and so maybe over the fall break, he actually grew some, and I have made some noticings that, yeah, it looks like maybe he grew in 9 days, because I'm going to tell you, kids grow fast. And he was happy that he made some growth, that he did not have to struggle so much to put his materials on the top shelf. In the past, I've always had to tell him, I know you want to put your things on the top shelf, Cletus, but you're not big enough yet. You're struggling too much. Can you put your things right here, right where your eye level is, or below, where you can easily get to them? And so, it's been heartbreaking for Cletus. And now, today, he is able to put things on the top shelf without struggling and hurting himself and others in the process. And Billy Bob did not like that. But Billy Bob was not aware of what Cletus had been going through to get where he is. Now, are you starting to see what I'm getting at here? We as adults tend to do that sometimes. We envy, or we think people are being too much, or people are bragging, when really they just made some growth and they're happy about that. Nobody should be ashamed of making growth in their life. No one should have to feel shamed into not talking about their growth and thinking that somebody else is going to feel bad because you grew and you made some growth. Now are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay, so I found that conversation with Billy Bob to be really interesting, because he never thought about that. I had to let him see, as Cletus was still over there struggling. Bless his little heart. I mean, he was, he was proud. But you could see how he was shorter than most of everyone else in the classroom. And I was like, look, he's shorter than everybody else in the classroom. And today he's finding it easier to be able to put his things on the shelf. And he's happy about that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with him being happy about growing. Okay? You should not be ashamed of your growth as you grow. That should not deter you what other people around you might say about you to grow. People will say things about you, like Billy Bob, even if they, I'm going to say, look, kids are awesome. I love them. They'll say it to your face, like, you're bragging. They'll tell it to each other, or they'll run and tell the teacher, Cletus is bragging. So, and they don't always like it. It's human nature. Sometimes people just don't like other people growing, and it's sad to me sometimes, but at the same time, you got to know where they came from. Once I pointed out to Billy Bob that Cletus had been struggling for a little bit of time there, and he finally made some growth, then he was like, again, I didn't think about that. Y'all, this was a little bit of story time, but it was worth it. I'm telling you. I got to continue with my errands this afternoon. As you can see, sometimes I have to write on my hand to get things going. But please like, subscribe, share if it inspires you, because this was I literally took it out of my day to day, changed the names of the innocent. Okay, 7 years old or 17 years old, 27, 37, 47, 57. It does not matter, I promise you. People do this, but they don't think about other people struggling to grow and then being happy when they finally do. Okay? Supplement your life, supercharge your life. This has been the Electric Body Supplement. Tell your friends about the channel. Tell, like, in the comments, um, what are you afraid to grow in? Now's the time. We're going to grow in 2022, friends. Okay? Take care.